All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome back on the Speaker Show this evening. I am so super excited to just be with each and every one of us tonight. Okay. I am super excited because it's been a the week has been wonderful so far, but it's just what it is, and we just have to just keep going. We have to keep striving, as individual, as human being, right? So no matter what we do, we can't give up. We just have to. You just got to do more every single time. And the funniest thing is that my week has been it has been awesome because many things took place this week, but yet everything ended up well. That's all I can say. So enough about me. Let's get into what we have to talk about tonight, because I am super super excited, and especially with what we want to talk about tonight, I am super excited. So let's get started. Once again, welcome, welcome, welcome on the Speaker Show. And I'm the host of the Speaker Show, Nini Olafatai. Now, for some of you who are just joining us for the first time, the Speaker Show is a place of inspiration, motivation, where minds are being liberated through reasoning. And what does that mean? You know, it just shows that on the Speaker Show, we inspire, we motivate, we encourage. We just want each and everyone to do great in their life. We want everyone to live to the best, to the best ability, of themselves. So that's why we have the Speaker Show right here. So for some of you who don't know, we coach, we cancel, which is the most important thing that we focus on, because we believe very strongly that you can run the race of your life alone. You need good platform, you need good sources that will help you to thrive, to strive through the journey. So, all right, so we're gonna be getting started. So tonight, the topic that I have for us that I'm very happy about is traveling and exploration. I love this a lot because I've had people mention to me that, oh, Nini, you got to talk about this, you got to talk about this, because many people just focus their attention on walk, 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 walk. That's all they do and nothing else. Which is very very sad, but unfortunately it's just what it is. So, what does that mean? And what does that leave us with? Is that we just need to just get ready. Honestly, if you haven't been planning any vacation, or maybe probably you've been in your comfort zone, trust me, tonight I am here to pinch you in the back and tell you that, hey, get out of where you are sitting, get out of where you are, and begin to enjoy yourself, begin to explore, because there's so many things, the thousands of things out there that you have no idea about. And the sad thing is that we are just banned within our knowledge, our culture, our norms, that's all we are just form of. But meanwhile, we can do more, we can do better. And that's why I'm so excited about this topic tonight. So follow me and let's get started, because we're going to be having a good time tonight, trust me. All right, so as we explore further, when we talk about traveling, take a second to just think about it. Like, what does traveling means to you? How do you see yourself? How do you experience traveling with yourself? These are things that, like, sometimes we just need to sit down and ask ourselves, because if we don't do, no one else is going to do for us, and it's just the truth. And we're just going to keep walking and walking and walking and walking and walking and walking. And in tonight's show, I'm going to be telling you, like, different benefits of why you need to travel, of why you need to explore, because exploration is fantastic. Why traveling? You're going to learn new things, you're going to meet new people, You're going to discover yourself. You're going to learn more about yourself. You won't be asking yourself, oh, why is this, why is that? Automatically you're going to know that, okay, some things exist because of some certain things. We're doing this because of some certain things. So that's what we are going to be exploring and talking about tonight. All right, so now I want you to understand something, that traveling is not just a moment of the body. You understand? So I want you to understand that there's so much more that comes along with traveling. It's more like a movement of the soul. It's like stepping out of the world you have known, your regular day-to-day lives. you know Step into, like, something new that you've never experienced before. And while we do that through exploration, it's not just the place that, we just sit, and then, we just sit, and, just our own knowledge, and that's it. You need to understand that it is also about the perspective, what you're learning. Every journey changes you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. In my own personal experience, every travel changes my perspective, it changes my knowledge, it changes my view of life. Culture, trying different people's food, trying to know different things, exploring more, which I think is fantastic. All right. So sometimes it's a way you don't even realize until, it's something that you don't even realize until later. You just keep spending your life, walk, 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 family, 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 family. That's it, that's it, that's it. You just keep doing same thing over and over and over and over, and that's about it. And before you know it, you're getting older. The years are counting, the time is running, it's not waiting, it keeps running. And then you wonder what happened. Back in the days, you used to dream of traveling, you desire to travel, but yet at the end of the day, you didn't end up doing it. Why? It's because you just didn't see the importance in you taking the action in doing it. Because, like I said, it's not just about you going to one place, not about you getting into the, get on board, at the airport, and then go somewhere, or maybe not even about you just being at the beach, but it's about the movement of the soul. And we're going to be diving in more and more and more tonight. All right. So, one thing that I want to share with you first is this tonight, that traveling opens your mind. And I'm telling you this out of experience. When you walk through the streets of a new city, or maybe probably, like, maybe you hear, like, a language that you don't understand, or you're not used to, or let's say, for example, you taste the food, that you've never tried before. What do you think is going to happen? Your mind begin to expand. Your mind begin to expand, and you start to see that, that there is a way to live aside from what you have known. That all you need to know is not just about you and your culture alone. There are other people. Your yes can be other people's no in another culture. So it gives you this mindset of you not being judgmental when you see people. That is the beauty of you traveling. It makes you accept people the way they are. It makes you more compassionate. You become more creative, because when you see something, and then, why you travel, you're like, I'm going to try this. Okay, I'm going to experience it. I don't know, maybe there's anyone here that, you've traveled somewhere, and you taste the food, and you realize that this food is so so good. And you get back to your own city, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try, I'm going to Google this, I'm going to see how they make this. I'm going to see. Those are the beauty of traveling. You explore, you realize that the world is full of multiple thousands of culture, ideas, traditions, that they are just as valid as your home. So you see that there's beauty in you traveling. There's beauty in you stepping out of your comfort zone. There's beauty, in you just learning new things. not just for yourself alone, but it consoles your mind. It reaches down to your soul that you actually even have no idea about. And I'll tell you that I've seen people that they just travel because they just want to travel, and they don't even understand exactly what it does to them. And I'm telling you, because I'm breaking it down for you tonight, that there's so much more that you gain when you travel. You know, travel, one thing I want you to understand is this, travel teaches you that different doesn't mean wrong, because something doesn't seems the way you see it, or a cultural norm is not as the same as yours. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that it's different from what you have known. And that makes your life better. If you see people that they really travel a lot and they understood exactly what I'm talking about, if you chat with them, they will tell you, you will see that their perspective about life is different. The way they reason about life is different. The way they think about life is different, because they've seen, they've experienced, they've explored. Their mind is bigger. They're out there. So I just want to encourage you that, travels open your mind. And then another thing that I want to share with you, another thing that I want to share with you is this. When we talk about exploration, oh my God, I love this a lot because I love to explore new things. I love to try new things. I love it a lot. I get bored with just one thing over and over. So I'm telling you this, that exploration builds courage. And that's one thing that I realized over the time, that leaving your family surroundings takes bravery. I'm telling you this, in a foreign land, even simple tasks like buying groceries, like, or maybe, catching the bus can actually, feels different, like a mini adventure. I'll tell you this. There's somewhere in downtown Toronto that says that please don't take the bus. It's right on the top if you're going on 401. And it says, please do not take if it's not necessary for you to take the car, please take the train or you take the bus. All right. Now, say this in a different perspective, that when you do that, what do you think is going to happen? You put your car aside. You don't even have to go thousands of miles. You don't need to go to a different country. Just within your hometown alone, moving from one place to the other. I've seen friends that, that they'll be like, you know what, Nini, it was so cool, just getting on the bus, or maybe getting on the train and, exploring, we were seeing different things while traveling. Those things are wonderful. Those things are things that, like, we need to exploit. We need to understand the importance of them, because when we don't, we make our life stagnant. That's what it does to us. We make our life stagnant, and we just right there. We just doing nothing with our life. And I want you to understand that in a foreign land, even every simple task makes a lot of difference. Every time you figure out something new, your confidence grows. I don't know if you ever understand that. See, there's beauty in exploring, honestly speaking. We say that something casual. We say that something that, it's okay, it's not a big deal. But I'm here to tell you tonight that there's so much more. There's so much more that you can do, that you can exploit, why you are on the road, while you are traveling. You're exploring new things. You're exploring new things. You're seeing how, things are working out for you. So I just want to tell you that, you just need to pick up your bags and experience new things. You just have to. And then one of the things that I want to share with us tonight is this, that, when we talk about traveling, it exposes you. What does that mean? It exposes you to new ideas, new people. Like I said before, your perspective change. The way you reason, it change. You discover people the more. So you need to know that when you do more in your life, when you do more, when you are ready to, like, to get out there, you are not just helping yourself, but you are helping your mind and your soul. So understand that even in the journey of traveling, you're creating memories over material things. You buy new clothes, you buy new luxuries, you buy new shoes, you buy new bag. Those things that create, like, they create memories, but they will wear out, or maybe even become even outdated. But yet, the moment you experience while exploring, it stays forever. Even if that clothes, it runs out, you're still going to be thinking in your mind that, oh, I remember when I got this. I remember when I do this. It gives you a wonderful memory. The laughter you share with a stranger on the train, in the bus, on the car, you're taking Uber, when you remember those moments, they give you joy. Those moments, they outlive the possession. That's just the reality that I want you to keep at the back of your mind. And one day, one day, somehow you're gonna look back, and then you realize that it wasn't just about that moment alone, but it was the difference that it makes, that truly you lived, you enjoyed your life, you filled your life with story that is worth telling. Because what would you tell, what would you say when you get older, when you don't even do anything in your life? There's nothing to say. I met an old man like 3 days ago, and the man was telling me, sincerely speaking, true story, he was sharing with me, and then he said to me that, Nini, if there's anything in your life that you need to do, you need to travel. You need to travel. You need to go on vacation. You need to explore. And I asked, why did you say that? Even though I know that I love to travel a lot, but yet, I'm like, why did you say that? And he said to me that in his time, he never did. All he did was just walk. He was so carried away with work. He was so carried away 9 to 5 every single day, Monday to Friday. And the years keep running and running and running and running and running. And from there, even after leaving all the things that he has done, after working so hard, the wife end up leaving him just because he was too, it was all about work, and the wife wanted to explore. The children, they had nothing really much to say, because they're like, it makes their life, it makes their life just because, the children will grow in line with exactly what you do. And the children realize that, they could do better. And so many other personal stories that he shared. And I realized at that moment that truly, we need to do more with ourselves, because we get carried away. And I felt sorry for him, after he told me that. I felt so bad, I felt so sad for him. But unfortunately, at the age that he had that much time, he got sick. He got sick, and he couldn't do much. And that's what a lot of people do. They will tell you, I have to make money, I have to make money and make money. After I make a lot of money, then we'll go on vacation. Who guarantees that that time when you have that money, you're going to be in good health? What guarantees you that, when those money are there, you're going to be in good health? We are only hoping to live the best life. We are only hoping that, we're going to live long. And that's the reality. We are only hoping. We just keep praying, but we don't know exactly what tomorrow holds. So, this is the reason why you need to take action. You need to live your life to the best of your ability. You need to enjoy yourself. You need to live. And you can even tell yourself that, yes, indeed, I truly lived. I truly enjoyed my life. I truly did the things that pleases my soul. I wasn't captivated, I wasn't shrinked. I wasn't shrink. I explored. And then another thing that I mentioned before that I want you guys to keep at the back of your mind is this: that exploration itself, like I said, it doesn't have to be somewhere far. And that's what a lot of people get wrong. I used to have a friend back in the days. And they all live in another town, another city now. Sorry, they all live in another city now. And one of those friend of mine, she was always saying to me that, oh, if we want to go somewhere, it has to be somewhere far. We have to plan for days. We have to make sure, like, we have a lot of cash in our hand, before we could do anything and all that. That was the mindset. And I kept on saying that you don't need to have much. You don't need it. We brainwash our mind with all these things that they're not even realistic, that they take the best from us. See, when they said you are the problem to your life, sincerely, it goes deeper. That's the truth. It goes deeper than just that word, that we are the problem of our lives. Because there's so many things that we tell our mind, that we brainwash our brain into, which it shouldn't have been. Many people think that they can't exploit because, they can't travel overseas. They can't travel somewhere. But wait a minute, let's sit down and relax. Even if you cannot travel abroad, even if you cannot travel overseas, what happened to your city? What happened, going for a long drive, visiting different places, seeing smaller towns, big towns? What happened to that? Because exploration begins where you are. That's the truth. It begins where you are. Every city itself has its own eating corner that is full of that is full of beauty. Is it the restaurants to think about? You know, is it the local history? Like, let's talk about it. Like, seriously speaking. So I just want to tell you, in order to round this up tonight, I just want you to understand that it is important that you exploit and stop giving yourself, like, wrong mindset. Stop saying, like, things that they are not true to yourself. That's just one thing I want you to understand, that you don't need a passport to be an explorer. You don't need a passport to fulfill that curiosity in you, because travel will teach you a lot of things. When you travel, you quickly learn new things, plans. Don't it's just funny that many people, they 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 affect their lives. They affect their life. Because when you allow travel to bring the best out of you, is one of life's greatest strengths. When you do that, when you stop resisting change, and you start flowing, in your own way, you discover something new. You learn about yourself, because while traveling, you learn new things. You understand that it is okay. The cultural differences that we have, it's okay. When you begin that, you your journey becomes much easier. And then I want you to keep in mind tonight, before we round up tonight, that every journey, near or far, closer or distance, it doesn't matter. It is just a mirror of reflection that we think about. It shows that, a part of you that you didn't even know that it existed. You know, like I said before, you try something new. If you don't try it, and then how would you know it tastes good? One quick story before we go. I remember, like, some years ago, I used to stock up some candy chocolates. I used to stock it up in my house, okay, for a very long time. I keep, getting it, and I never tasted it. I never opened it. True story. I never opened it. And I remember one day, Pastor Neron came to my house, and he said to me, he said, "Oh, look at this beautiful chocolate right here. I know this chocolate. And I was like, oh, you do? Okay, you can have everything. That was what I said to him. You can have everything. Don't forget, I didn't try, but I keep piling it up. I keep piling it up. But it was like, oh, this is nice. So he opened it. And then it was like, are you sure you want me to take everything? I'm like, yeah, I want you to take everything. You can go with everything. It's fine with me. It's okay. And he opened it. He said, are you sure you want me to take this? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, you can have it. Okay. So he's like, okay, you know what? I'll open one and I will give it to you. You'll try it. I'm like, okay. Are you sure? I'm like, I'm not sure if I want to taste it. But anyways, to cut the long story short, he opened it. He gave me one. And I was like, oh my goodness. This is what I've been piling up in my house and I didn't even know that it tastes so wonderful. And I was like, no, you can't go with everything. I got to take my stuff back. So, this is really an example of what we do to ourselves. And since that day, I realized and I changed my mindset that, you know what? No matter what it is, I'm always going to try. Giving something a try, it does not take anything from you. It's either you like it or you don't like it, but you never know which one you're going to love. So I'm going to round up by telling you that you just need to take the time to envision, explore, you know, explore as much as you can. And that exploration, let it shape you into the fulfilling version of yourself, into the best, amazing, tremendous part of yourself that you never realized that it existed before. So all I just want to say is that, I just want you all to be the best, at what you do. And let's just have a great time in the journey of our lives. All right. So thank you everyone for joining me tonight. And I just want to say thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Like I've always said, like, don't forget to share the video, don't forget to like it. So let's just support the speaker show. Today teaching might not be for you, which is okay, but it will be for someone else. But regardless, please share, because you never know who is going to need something. You never know what people are going through. You never know what people need, like I've always said. So until you share with them, and then you see that someone is going to tell you thank you for sharing with me. So other than that, I just want to say that, have a very wonderful night. It's been wonderful, it's been amazing. I love this. Let's all travel together, let us exploit together and live the best life that we can live, and create wonderful memories. And I'll see you next week. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.